Sai Ram brothers and sisters across Australia, Fiji, and New Zealand. My name is Nessan Naidu, Centre President at Clarinda Centre in Victoria, Australia. It is my pleasure indeed to welcome you all to our very first program in a series of programs called Sai Connect. Let me first begin by acknowledging the First Nations people of Australia, upon whose land we meet in Australia. We pay our respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and acknowledge that title was never ceded. We also pay our respect to the traditional elders in New Zealand and Fiji, and also acknowledge their elders, past and present, upon which our Sai brothers and sisters meet to continue Swami's work tirelessly. I wish to take this opportunity to congratulate each of you for joining the Sri Sathya Sai Global Council. Just like a mother to its and its fetus, this is a direct umbilical connection to our mother organization based in Prasanthi. Just like each day, we need to plug into the power point our mobile phones to recharge our batteries. Likewise, we need to plug into Prasanthi, the divine abode of our dear Lord, and the power source of the global Sai energy, which connects each one of us even more deeply to Swami. Now, this is why this program is called Sai Connect, Plugging into Divinity. The Sai Connect series is designed to provide inspiration and the divine connectivity to the fuel that we all need as we power forward with the Sri Sathya Sai Global Council as part of one global Sai family. These sessions will include inspirational speakers and content and cover other matters of interest to our devotees in the Pacific region. In this inaugural Sai Connect program, we are very privileged to have with us Sri Sai Surendranath, or more affectionately known as Sai Sir. Now, Sai Sir holds a BCom and an MCom degrees from Swami's colleges and Institute of Higher Learning. Currently, he is a postgraduate teacher in the Department of Commerce at Higher Secondary School, where he teaches business organization, management, and statistics. Under his care and tutelage has passed more than 35 cohort of students. His students were richly rewarded and recognized through the success of his alums, who are messengers of Sai across the globe, spreading Swami's teachings of love and human values. Acknowledging Swami's blessings, Sai Sir was recognized by the Indian Ministry of Human Resource twice as the best teacher for the excellent results achieved by his students. Now, this is not surprising to hear, as students from Swami's institutions end up being seen as the epitome of a values-centered global citizenry, beaming across the globe as beacons for dharmic living. Like all of Swami's devotees, Sai Sir also plays a very active role in other parts of Swami's organization, and he is blessed to play tabla for the Prasanthi Mandir Bhajan Group. Now, some other interesting facts about Sai Sir, which I'm sure you all might be interested to know. His maternal grandmother, Srimati Pankajama from Chennai, was the first to be blessed by Bhagavan in 1948, and subsequently, the entire family came under Swami's fold. He has been an ardent and serving devotee of Swami for the last 40 years. As a successful teacher and ardent follower of our Divine Lord, Sai Sir will share with us today his journey with the Divine Architect, especially the role that the concept of faith has played in his relationship with Swami and in his life journey. Please join me warmly and lovingly to Sai Sir. Over to you, Sai Sir.
Om Sri Sai Ram. I offer my humble pranams at the lotus feet of our most loving Lord. Esteemed members of Sai Organization of Australia, respected elders, young adults, and my dear brothers and sisters of Sai family of Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji. I feel really blessed to be with this August gathering on 1st August evening. Thank you for this invitation and I am proud to be part of this group and share some of the lovely experiences with our dear Lord. First thing first, my hearty congratulations to the entire team, Brother Shivendra and his team, for launching this new program, Sai Connect. My greetings to one and all from Prasanthi Nilayam. When I was thinking about this topic, Sai Connect, I really went back to 2009. SAI, yes, Swami, A, Australia, I, that is myself, how we got connected. It was in 2009 that we as a family decided to go for Australian tour for our vacation. Usually, I take permission from Bhagwan whenever we go for vacation. And that evening, Swami was there. And I want to share with you all today that how Swami appreciates and praise Australian devotees and your lovely country on that day. A few minutes interaction between me and Swami. I said, Swami, if you give me permission, I would like to go for a vacation to Australia. Then Swami asked, have you applied for visa? I said, Swami, if you give me permission, then I will do so. Then Swami asked, where are you going? I said, Swami, Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, Gold Coast, and Cairns, the Great Barrier Reef. And Swami said, full family? Yes, Swami, full family. How many days? I said, roughly 2 or 3 weeks, Swami. Then Swami paused for some time and he said, no, 4 weeks. I said, Swami, 3 weeks. Ledu, 4 weeks. I kept quiet, and then Swami was mentioning that time, Australia, very nice country, beautiful sceneries, and people are very loving and very kind, very devoted to Swami. And then immediately Swami got the basket of Vibhuti Prasadam and gave me that Vibhuti and said, have a nice vacation with your family. And that is how I got permission. And then my SAI, Swami, Australia, and myself got connected in 2009. After that, again, Swami gave me permission, and 2-3 times I had been to Australia. Now, let us come back. Australia Connect with Prasanthi Nilayam. We all, in close proximity of Bhagwan, while staying here, I used to sit in the veranda and wait for Swami's darshan. Meanwhile, I'll be observing all the devotees getting gathered, hundreds and hundreds of them. In that group, I used to see 2 types. One with problems. Family problem, financial problem, health problem, job problem. So we have so many problems. So all these problems, one group, they want to be closer to Swami. They want to touch him. They want to feel him. They want to get a word of consolation from this loving Lord. At the same time, you have another group sitting. They want to thank with gratitude for giving them promotion, for helping them buying a house or marriage or blessings on their wedding day or birthday, naming ceremony, goes on. There is another group, again they want to be very close to Swami and get his love and get his blessings. And how Swami connects with these people. It's very interesting to sit in the portico and observe the relationship, the connection between Sai and his devotees. And darshan time, Swami will be gliding softly, and then there he will look at somebody and smile. He will pat someone. He will take a clove and put in his mouth. He will take handful of chocolates and throw around. He will pick up a hanky and wipe his mouth and give it back, giving namaskaram, a word of consolation, a word of warning. This is how, when Swami is moving from one place to another, he would have touched hundreds of hearts and answered all their prayers. That is Sai Connect with his devotees. But plugging into devotees or plugging into divinity is a talk today. How this happens? I have seen people craving to sit front line so that they can easily approach Swami and have a word with him and get his blessings. But what happens? All will not get that chance. So they may be sitting in 5th row or maybe 10th row, and they are praying intensely, and Swami is moving around. And do you know what is a prayer? Tomorrow, my dad's surgery. Swami, please bless. Everything should go on well. Another one, tomorrow is my job interview. Swami, bless me that everything should go on well and I should get this job. Like that, you find many people with a different approach towards Swami. And do you know how Swami gets connected to them? They will say, Swami, I am sitting in 10th line. If you just look at me and give a smile, I will take that as an indication. Swami, if you can turn towards me and show me your blessing hand, I will think that is an indication that you blessed me. That is more than enough. And lo and behold, their intense faith, their prayer, and their love towards Swami too respond. Sai connection happens there. And Swami looks at that person, gives a beautiful smile, a nod, or showing Abhayhasta, blessing hand, or taking a handful of chocolates and throwing 2 chocolates falling on his lap. Immediately he feels that my prayers are answered. This is plugging into divinity. This is Sai connection. And then Swami enters our beautiful bhajan hall. And before entering the bhajan hall, what happened between devotees and God? They come with torn heart. And here you have Lord stretching and giving him soothing feeling. Come with a broken mind. He sticks, he attaches and gives them peace of mind. That is why you and me and all of us crave to be at his lotus feet in Prasanthi Nilayam, which is called Abode of Peace. When he enters the bhajan hall, I am sure all of you, each and every one of you must be having a sweet memory, one-to-one with this divine Lord. I am sure some of you would have done bhajans there, or a program, or a group interview, or might have attended morning Suprabhatam and Omkaram. And there you find some kind of connection between Sai and yourself. I would like to give you 2 instances where plugging into divinity is seen. One day, we were all seated and waiting for Swami's darshan, and that day Swami did not turn up. And it was almost 10 minutes to start bhajans, and then suddenly, there is some kind of disturbance among the devotees and Swami start walking. And Swami took a shortcut and entered straight into the bhajan hall. Just 10 minutes before bhajan. And then Swami was standing in front of one boy and talking to the 5th boy who is on the 5th row. And a boy who is on the 2nd row wanted to snatch one quick namaskar. He wants to touch Swami's tender lotus feet. And slowly he pushed his hand and trying to touch. And Swami took one step behind and said, no. Then again, the conversation between the devotee and Swami was going on. The temptation, you can't keep quiet. And again, he started slowly making another effort to touch him. And Swami looked at him and sternly Swami told, no. I was sitting in this side and I noticed what this guy was doing and how Swami was getting disturbed. I signaled to that boy, I said, don't disturb Swami. And Swami, while conversing with that person, through his corner of eye, he noticed that I am signaling to this boy. Anyway, I kept quiet. And after 1 or 2 minutes, Swami completed the conversation and he straight came and stood in front of me. I was looking at Swami. And Swami said, touch. So I didn't know what to do. Then Swami lifted his robe and showed his lotus feet and said, touch. I didn't want to do. Why? Because when I turned back, that boy whom I told don't touch, he's staring at me and he wants to know what I will do now. So instead of listening to Swami, I was looking at this chap, what he will feel, because I told him don't touch and here I am forced to touch. Again Swami looked at me and said, touch. I have no option. I have to listen to Lord. So immediately I put both my hand and was holding Swami's feet. To my shock, it was hot. Immediately I looked at Swami. I said, Swami, it's very hot. And Swami said, yes, from afternoon, bit of cold and feverish feeling. That is why I took some time to come for darshan. Then immediately I told Swami, why you must take all the trouble? You could have communicated to us. We would have, as usual, started the bhajan and we can wind up with Aarati. Why, Swami, why you have to take this trouble? And Swami looked at me and he said, you people, if you have headache, one leave letter. Slight fever, one leave letter. You are tired, one leave letter. You can apply for leave and take off. But for this Sai Baba, leave ledu. No holidays at all for Sai Baba. Do you know why? There are devotees travel hundreds of miles and they'll be standing outside the compound and they just want to see my crown of hair. They are happy. They want to see my face. They feel they are blessed. They see my robe. They get satisfied. And they travel all the way just to see me. How can I deny that? Therefore, I have to come, and wherever I stand, they receive my blessings. And this is, my dear, plugging into divinity. With that faith they come, that I will have a glimpse of Bhagavan today before his Aarati. That faith, that conviction, that devotion, and that love binds. There you find Sai Connect. This is plugging in divinity. If you see the another situation where another episode in same bhajan hall, we all know, we all enjoy bhajans, and when Swami is sitting in front of you and Swami is enjoying when you are singing and when you are playing, we forget ourselves. And in Swami's life, what he can do? Nothing other than receiving all the problems. Everybody tells Swami this problem, that problem. Everybody wants, I want this. In his life, the only change, the only entertainment is bhajans, live performance. So he comes, sits in the bhajan hall, enjoys this bhajan for half an hour or so. One day when the session was going on, I happened to play tabla that day. That was my chance on that day. And I was playing tabla and Swami was smiling at me and bhajans were going on. Suddenly, during one bhajan, and Swami was looking at my finger when I was playing. I was noticing that And then Swami again looked at my face and looking at my finger, looking at my face and looking at my finger. I didn't know what Swami was trying to tell me, but I was just playing, looking at him, smiling and playing. And then suddenly Swami looked at me and said, Sariledu. It is not tuned. It is not on scale. It is not on Shruti. Bhajan was going on. I can't stop. So immediately I turned a little bit and continued playing without disturbing the sequence of the bhajans. Again Swami heard. Swami said, not good. Again I turned the other way around. Again Swami paused for some time, looking at my finger and looking at my face. Sarigaledu. Then the full circumstance, everything's over, all around the tabla is turned. Now nothing else to do. So immediately I signaled the next boy, change the tabla. And quickly he replaced the tabla with another tabla, and I immediately continued playing. And Swami looked at the beautiful transition and he gave a big smile. Again he was watching at my finger and he said, not good. I didn't know what to do. I can't change this again. So one more tabla was changed. Again Swami heard, and then Swami said, not good. And then he was looking at the ceiling and smiling. By then, the song got over. Bhajan got over. Swami took Arati and he was going out of the Bhajan hall. And Swami lovingly he tapped on my head and he smiled and he said, Tablalu sarledu. Tablas are not good. I smiled and I kept quiet. Swami went happily. That's all happened. After 2 weeks, another boy was playing. Same Swami sitting on the throne there, looking at that boy. Swami told him, "Theek nahi, not good." And this boy noticed what happened with me and Swami, and he also tried the same stunt. He rotated the tabla. Swami said no. Again he rotated the tabla. Swami said no. And then the next thing, do you know what he did? He looked at Swami and told, Swami, this is the same scale. Swami, this is the same scale. And immediately Swami turned his face towards the lady's side and then totally ignored him. Totally ignored him. And bhajan got over. Arati time he didn't see. And he put his head down and walked over. Then he understood, all of us, you can make out the way Swami interacts with boy. You can make out whether Swami is happy or Swami is unhappy. All of us knew that Swami is upset with this boy. And then, Sai Sir, I was doing correctly only, why Swami is unhappy with me? I said, what Swami was telling you? Swami was telling, it is not on the correct scale. Then what is your problem? You must change. I did know, Sai Sir. I turned it again. Swami said not correct. But again Swami was telling no. Then I said, for whose sake you are playing? You wanted chance. You want to play in front of Swami. And when you are playing in front of Swami, and when that front of Swami, when you are playing and when Swami is saying something, you are unplugging yourself. You are not in tune. You are not connected to Sai. The reason? Your ego. You feel that what you're playing is correct and you're trying to justify to Swami. And this is where, in Sai Connection, Swami is trying to test us how much we are connected with Swami. Most of the time I find, Swami always says that it is not that Swami do not know that it is in the correct scale and all that. Swami wants to see how much you are in tune with Bhagavan. How far you are. Just like how Swami feels, it is similar to Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna tells Arjuna, that is crow. He says, yes, Krishna. No. Peacock. Yes, Krishna. No. Pigeon. Yes, Krishna. That is what Swami expects from all of us. But sometimes our stupidity, our ego comes, Maya. And there the distance becomes, you and me, the God and devotee distance becomes more. So this is where we learn how to plug in with the divinity, into divinity. If the connection is proper, if only you are in tune with Swami, in tune with Sai, and the proper connection is there, plugging in is possible, divinity will blossom. And I've seen once Swami gets upset with boys, and Swami gave one boy lot of chance. And that boy, because he was getting more chance, he felt he is superior, is something different, the attention on him is more. So usually that ego gets inflated. And one fine morning, something goes wrong. Swami will come heavily upon that boy. And then in the end, Swami was telling, you are a student and you are here studying in the university. Remember, university is holding you. You are not university. You are part of university. That is the same situation I am seeing in the present scenario. Yes, I owe Sri Sathya Sai International Organization. Now slowly getting converted into yes, I owe Sri Sathya Sai Individual Organization. Why? Because of this ego. We feel we own the organization. But turn back. Organization was much before you. And you have been given the privilege. You are given a part to play in this organization. You belong to the organization. Organization doesn't belong to you. You come and go. Organization remains. And Swami always says, SAI. Sai and I. Sai is first. Rest everything next. You see Sathya Sai organization, Sai is first. Sai Bhajans. Sai University. Sai Ram. Sai is first. Everything is next. Therefore, all of us, if you really want to get the Sai connection, plugging into divinity is very, very important. I will share with you one more very beautiful instant which happened during my student time at Brindavan. One gentleman was given the opportunity to be part of organization. He was holding a very good post. And he was conversing with his own, his age. He's an elderly man. Another elderly man, he was sharing, I'm doing a lot of service here. I'm not getting enlightened. I have to do sadhana to get enlightenment. Then the other person was telling, what is that you want to do? He said, I want to go to Rishikesh or Kedarnath, Badrinath or Himalayas. I want to do penance and realize myself and enlighten myself. So this was the conversation I was overhearing, this going on. Elderly people, they keep talking something. So just then Swami came outside the Brindavan building and coming for darshan. And Swami came straight to this gentleman. And while Swami was walking, Swami's robe and inside Swami's pattu dhoti is there. There are threads. And few of them are hanging and got entangled to the toe of Swami. So Swami was finding little difficult to walk because it is pulling. So Swami lifted his leg and showed to this gentleman and said, remove. And this gentleman took the opportunity. He removed that piece of thread and Swami's toe is free and he can easily walk now. And then Swami said, you know that hundreds of people sitting outside in Sai Ram shed? He said, yes, Swami. Imagine if one of the devotee gets this thread, can you tell me what he will do? Swami asked him this question. Swami, they will feel immensely happy. They'll feel they are blessed. And they will take this, they may frame it and they will put it in the altar and they will worship. That is what you and me, when Swami has given the robe, now we always feel Swami is with us by seeing that robe. So that he was mentioning that time that he will see this thread and he will see Swami through this thread. And then Swami smiled and Swami said, you want to go and get enlightenment staying elsewhere. And what you want to do? You want to search God. But here God is walking in front of you. You are not realizing that you are living with God, talking with God, moving with God, and you want to go somewhere else and search for a new God. And Swami smiled, and immediately he fell down. I said, Swami, tappai poindi Swami, Swami, sorry Swami, Swami, sorry Swami. This is called Sai Connect, unplugged, got replugged. He is all the time living with Swami, but he didn't realize. That is why, we always say, if you give everything free, you will not know the value. If you get everything easily, you will not get the value. And we get God's darshan. Do you know how? Go to South Indian canteen, have idli, vada, sambar and hot cup of coffee, sit in the line and God comes and talks to you. So easy. Because God is available to you so easily, so simple, we don't appreciate the value. When the same thing, when you are in trouble and turmoil, where are you, Baba? Why you forsake me? Why can't you look at me? But when you are eating idli vada sambar, he was looking at you. Where were you looking at? What were you feeling at that moment? Because many a time we unplug and replug. So whenever you unplug yourself, there is no divinity. When you replug and get the Sai connection, you will see divinity. You will enjoy divinity. You will experience divinity. That is the beauty of living with our Swami. I would like to tell a beautiful story which Swami was narrating to few of us. We are 4 or 5 students. We get interviews. And we enjoy the beautiful time that we always spend with Swami in that interview room. And Swami is ask any doubt, you ask this, you ask that. And we used to question many things and sort out all our issues. And one such occasion, Swami was giving a beautiful story. And think that story, sum and substance of the story is like this. I think it is faith versus fear. I feel that. It is faith versus fear. And what is the story? It seems Narada approached Mahavishnu and he asked, is there anybody better than me? And Mahavishnu gave a beautiful smile and told him, go down and check up for yourself. Why are you asking me? And then immediately Narada comes down and first he come across a saint and he looks at him and he says, Narayana, Narayana. So immediately the saint opens his eyes. Oh my God, I am so blessed, immensely blessed. What a day. I am having your darshan. Great, great. Then Narada was asking, how is your sadhana going on? Very nice. 10 years over, maybe another 2 years, my prayers will be answered. God will appear in front of me and I will get liberated. Do you think that easy? Yes. My intense prayer is that I am having that kind of faith that definitely in another 2 years, God will appear in front of me. Whatever that I want, He will bless me profusely. Then Narada, yeah, I understand. But it's a small problem. Narada, problem? You are the person who solves the problem and you are telling there is problem. What problem, Narada? He said, you see, I am coming from Vaikunta. There our Mahavishnu was lying down and he took a needle in left hand and you took a small elephant on the right hand. In the needle there is an eye of the needle where we put the thread. He took this elephant and trying to push into the eye of the needle. He's trying and trying and trying and the elephant is not coming the other side. I told Mahavishnu, it is not possible. Then immediately the person saint, how can that be? Don't joke, Narada. No, I am not joking. Past 1 week, this is the program happening in Vaikunta. I got frustrated for a change of place. I came here and this is what there. And then he said, Narayana, Narayana. Narada usually set fire and goes off. So he did the job. And now this saint suddenly is thinking, Mahavishnu is a creator. He created the elephant and he created this needle. Don't tell me Creator doesn't have that kind of common sense that this elephant cannot enter the eye of a needle. Oh my God, did I waste my 10 years? What is happening? And then the faith is displaced with fear. My dear brothers and sisters, what is fear? In the word fear, there is another word hidden. F-E-A-R, fear. In that, E-A-R, is there. So, what is this doing? It hears everything from outside. And whatever the ear hears, it goes to the mind. Your system gets affected. But if you have faith, you will not hear because the faith is from inside. Faith is attached to your heart. Fear is attached to your mind. Faith is inward. Fear is outward. Now, this faith should be positive, whereas fear is always negative. Narada did the job to test the faith of this saint. And this saint is totally confused and is fainting there. This Narada went to a village, and there a poor farmer, he met him. Farmer felt very happy, and he felt his day was blessed by having darshan of Narada. Then Narada asked him, how is your life and how is everything? He said, God's grace, place to stay, food to eat, all comfort is given by Lord Mahavishnu. We are very happy, totally contented, satisfied. His grace and His blessings are always on me and my family. But there is a small problem. He said, what problem, Narada? I am coming from Vaikunta. Mahavishnu sitting and took a needle on the left hand and the elephant on the right hand. He is trying to push this into the eye of a needle. And I told him it is not possible to go and don't waste your time. But he is not listening to me and he's getting frustrated. He's telling why it's not going, why it's not going. And this is the program happening for 1 week. So I thought for a change I'll come down. And this is the condition there. This humble farmer laughed loudly. That Narada felt insulted by seeing his laugh. He said, why? Why are you laughing? Don't joke, Narada. Nothing of that kind will happen. No, this is serious. This is what is happening. Dear Narada, respected Narada, can you come along with me to my garden? He said, why not? And he took him to the garden and he showed him a very big jackfruit tree. And he said, how big is tree? Yeah, this is very big. How many branches are there? Many branches. How many jackfruits are there? Hundreds of them are hanging. Can you lift it? It is so heavy. No, it is not possible. It is impossible to count the branches. It is impossible to count the leaves. Such a big tree it is. My dear Narada, from where it came? It came from a small seed. When the Lord of the universe can compress hundreds of jackfruits and hundreds of branches and thousands of leaves and the big tree into a small seed, don't tell me Mahavishnu cannot push this elephant into the eye of the needle. Then he said, Narayana, Narayana. That is the faith. Because there is no fear, faith was there. And their fear displaced the faith. My dear brothers and sisters, in our life, very important thing is we must develop this faith. How we can do that? Now, the oldest Wi-Fi connection is prayer. Now today we say we have Wi-Fi. No. Thousands of years back, Wi-Fi was already established by God. How? Prayer. Wherever you are, when you pray, you get connected to God and the grace and the blessings comes to you. Now we have device, but those days we always had. And today, when you have this prayer, the prayer, Wi-Fi prayer, needs to have a password. What is that password? Faith is the password. If you don't have faith, there is no use of your prayer. Prayer should be supported by faith. And this is what you and me should do if we need to get connected with our Divine Lord. Plugging into divinity. We all know plug. In the plug there are two wires. One is positive, the another one is negative. But each one will not touch each other. If it touches, finished. Boom. But it is insulated and separately kept, but it is united. It is kept together. Again, that is also covered. There is unity. But what is that? Negative and positive. Life is full of negative and positive. Ups and downs. Failure and success. Rich and poor. Everything is there. Because God wants that to be part of our life. That is His planned version of life. Why? Every problem is like a pothole. Every problem is like a speed breaker. Because that controls you, that cautions you, that regulates you how to handle your life carefully to reach the destination. And where this goes, it gets connected to a bulb. If that bulb need to be bright, it has to be clean outside, purity. Here it is unity and there it is purity. Where it is pure, you can see it is transparent. Wherever purity is there, it is transparent. We say water is pure because it is transparent. So purity is light. Then what happens? The light doesn't glow because there is no connection. So here we are plugging in with Sai connection. Just because you plugging in with Sai connection, do you think the light is glowing? No. Then what is missing? Switch. You have to switch on. When you switch on, then the light will glow. What is that switch? That is the faith. Faith is your switch. The moment with your faith, when you switch on, what happens? The current of love gushes into the wire, engulfs the filament, and there is enlightenment. That is divinity. Dear brothers and sisters, a beautiful topic, plugging into divinity. This is what we need to do. If you and me and all of us, with pure devotion, with full of conviction, with that faith and love, if you get connected with Sai, divinity is within you. You also will become divine. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Before I wind up, let us have a takeaway. Today's takeaway is life is run by faith and won by grace. Life is run by faith and won by grace. If you go to a train will not stop for you. When train stops, you get inside. A bus stops, you get inside. Nothing waits for you. When the water flows in the river, it doesn't wait for you. When the time flows, time doesn't wait for you. You can only think about the time spent, but you cannot rewind the time. When the life moves on, when the life goes on, you cannot rewind your life either. But we can sanctify our life. We can make our life fruitful, successful only if you have Sai connection. If you plug in into divinity, your life can be sanctified. It will be more fruitful. Life is a challenging one. For most of the people, life is like an examination. We always have troubles. We always have to face problems. It is not that easy. Life full of ups and downs. Swami says bumps and jumps. So life is challenging exam. But only thing is, you and me, we don't realize that many people fail in life because they try to copy each other. We try to copy each other's life, but seldom we realize that each one of us have a different question paper. For our life, there is no standard question paper. My question paper is different for my life. Your question paper is different for your life. And we try to emulate, we try to copy. Because we try to copy, we falter and we fail, we become miserable. That is why we should never ever copy others. You should get connected to Sai and write your exam very well and come out successfully with the flying colors. One devotee asked Swami, Swami, give me everything to enjoy. That is what I need in this life. And Swami beautifully replied, I have given you life to enjoy everything. Yes, you can enjoy only if you have life. Now today you see COVID. Nobody knows who is in and who is out. I think once in 100 years, God will do some practical experiments with His creation. These 100 years, we all heard Upanishads, Gita, this Vahini, that Vahini. We have become expert. We have studied all the literature and we know what is life and what is above the life and what is God. We have good analysis, but when it comes to practical, we are zeros. So therefore, all the time, theoretically only we are learning, but there is no parivartana, there is no change in us. I think these are the testing times, like God wants to do practically explain to us. What is that? One COVID, one pandemic. You are cornered between four walls. Sathya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema. Shut up and sit down. You can't spend, ceiling on desire. You can't go outside. You may not have money to earn. Everything is closed. If you go outside, what happens? You may not be surviving. There is a day when somebody spoke to you just 2 days back and the third day is no more. Uncertainty. So God is trying to tell all of us, irrespective of nationality, caste, creed, color, race, says that you are not different. You are all one. Ekoham bahusyam. From one, we got many. Ekam eva advitiyam brahma. Everybody, when he dies, he becomes one with God. So God separated. That's why Swami says, I separated myself from myself to love myself. But here we are not loving each other. We started hating each other. We started pinpointing mistakes on each other. But the main goal, we are missing the bus. So therefore, all of us, God has given this beautiful life. And we are born when God descended. We are so lucky we are Sai devotees. We are so lucky we have seen Him, we felt Him, we talked to Him, we touched Him. We had a beautiful time with this sweet Lord. What more you want? Sanctify your life. How? Have Sai connection. Plugging into divinity. Sanctify your life. And I pray Swami to bless you all profusely in this endeavor. And have a wonderful day. Thank you. God bless you. And thank you all for this wonderful opportunity, sharing my thoughts with all of you. Jai Sai Ram.
Wow. Brother Sai, thank you for a beautiful and inspirational talk. I cannot think of a more inspirational speaker for our first session. I now know why your students excel so well. Thank you. SAI now has an additional meaning for me. I have noted so many ways to now connect and plug into Sai. I particularly love the anecdote relating to faith and fear. One is within and the other is amplified by the ear. Thank you. I know that our devotees today would have been able to connect with different elements of your talk, which will even further ignite their yearning for Swami's grace, his love and blessings in their spiritual lives. We can see that you are truly powered by Sai power. We thank you with love for your time, efforts, and making yourself available today. Sai Ram. We will now continue with the next part of this evening's divine offering.
ईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। मंगलचरणा गजानना मंगलचरणा गजानना गजवदना शुभानना गजवदना शुभानना मंगलचरणा गजानना विद्यादायक बुद्धिप्रदायक विद्यादायक बुद्धिप्रदायक गौरीतनया गजानना गौरीतनया गजानना मंगलचरणा गजानना गजवदना शुभानना मंगल चरणा गजानना। नटराजा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा। नटराजा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा। शिवराजा शिवराजा नटन शेखरा राजा। शिव नमो हर हर नमो। 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 शंकर शिव नटराजा। शंकर शिव नटराजा। शंकर शिव नटराजा। नटराजा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा। नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा। नमः पार्वती पतये हर। पार्वती पतये हर। ओम नमः पार्वती पतये हर। शेखरा राजा। नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा। शिवराजा शिवराजा नटन शेखरा राजा। शिवराजा शिवराजा नटन शेखरा राजा। शिव शिव नमो हर हर नमो। शिव नमो हर हर नमो। शंकर शिव नटराजा। शंकर शिव नटराजा। नटराजा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा। नटराजा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा। नमः पार्वती पतये हर। नटराजा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा। जय जग जननी मां। जननी मां। जग जननी मां। जय मां जय मां जय मां। जय मां जय मां जय मां। जय साई परमेश्वरी। शिव शंकरी साई परमेश्वरी। साई शिव शंकरी साई परमेश्वरी। शिव शंकरी अम्बे भवानी मां जय। अम्बे भवानी मां जय। अम्बे भवानी मां जय। जय जग जननी शंकरी साई परमेश्वरी। शिव शंकरी साई परमेश्वरी। अम्बे भवानी मां जय। अम्बे भवानी मां जय। जय जग जननी राम हरे हरे नाम बोलो। 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 हरि नाम बोलो साई नाम बोलो। हरि नाम बोलो साई नाम बोलो। राम हरे हरे नाम बोलो। साई रामा परम दयाला। साई रामा परम दयाला। परम दयाला। परम दयाला। मन मंदिर में दिया उजाला। मन मंदिर में दिया उजाला। राम हरे हरे नाम बोलो। हरि नाम बोलो साई नाम बोलो। राम हरे हरे नाम बोलो। साई रामा परम दयाला। परम दयाला। परम दयाला। मन मंदिर में दिया उजाला। राम हरे हरे नाम बोलो। अल्लाह साई बोलो मौला साई बोलो। नानक साई बोलो गोविंद साई बोलो। अल्लाह साई बोलो मौला साई बोलो। अल्लाह साई बोलो मौला साई बोलो। राम हरे हरि नाम बोलो।
Truth is my bread, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my bread, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my bread, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my bread, this is my food. My life is my message, expansion is my life. My life is my message, expansion is my life. No vision for love, no season for love. No birth, no death, no birth, no death. Love is my form, truth is my bread, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my bread, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my bread, this is my
experience in
ఈ
the bliss.
ఐకమత్యం కావాలి.
There is need for unity.
ఏకత్వంలో మన ఆనందం ఇమిడి ఉంటుండాలి.
The entire bliss lies in unity.
ఐకమత్యమే సుఖము అందరి క్షేమంబు ఎంత కార్యమైన నెగ్గవచ్చు. చిన్న చీమలు చేరి సర్పంబునను బట్టి చంపుచుండుట లేదా జగతి యందు. ఐకమత్యమే సుఖము అందరి క్షేమంబు ఎంత కార్యమైన నెగ్గవచ్చు. చిన్న చీమలు చేరి సర్పంబును బట్టి చంపుచుండుట లేదా జగతి యందు. ఐకమత్యం అందరూ ఒక్కటిగా చేరిందటంటే ఎంత సుఖం. నా వెనక ఇంకా 10 మంది ఉన్నారు అనేటువంటి ధైర్యము, ఆనందము, ఉత్సాహము, ప్రోత్సాహాన్ని కూడా నువ్వు చేకూరుస్తుంది.
Unity is joy, delight and happiness. Unity brings about the welfare of all people. With unity, any stupendous task and Himalayan Herculean task could be accomplished.
అందరూ ఐకమత్యంగా పనిచేసి ఎంతటి కార్యాన్నైనా మనం సాధించవచ్చు.
With unity, any stupendous task could be accomplished.
చిన్న చిన్న చీమలన్నీ చేరి పెద్ద సర్పాన్ని కూడా చంపేస్తుండేది మనం చేస్తున్నాం.
We can see even small ants by coming together can kill even a big snake.
కనుక మానవత్వం అనేటువంటిది ఐకమత్యంగా ఉంటుంటే మనం సాధించలేనటువంటిది ఏమిటి ఈ జగత్తులో?
If there is unity among humanity, is there any work which cannot be accomplished at all in the
ఐకమత్యం
world?
ఎప్పుడు మనకు లభిస్తుంది?
When can we get that unity?
మన హృదయాలు పవిత్రము గావించుకున్నప్పుడే ఈ ఐకమత్యం అనేటువంటిది మనకు లభిస్తుంది.
Only when we purify our hearts, we can achieve that kind of unity.
ఈ హృదయాలు పవిత్రమైనప్పుడే దివ్యత్వం అనే దాన్ని మనం అందులో ప్రతిబింబ చేసుకుంటాం.
Only when we purify our hearts, the divinity gets reflected in our hearts.
కనుక యూనిటీ నుండి ప్యూరిటీ నుండి డివినిటీ, ఈ మూడింటి ఎందుకు కూడా మనం అనుభూతి కావాలి. కానీ ఈనాడు యూనిటీ లేదు, ప్యూరిటీ లేదు, డివినిటీ లేదు, ఓన్లీ కమ్యూనిటీ. దీన్ని పట్టుకొని అల్లాడుతున్నాము. వీడు నావాడు, వాడు నా, ఇదా మనం సాధించవలసినటువంటి ఈ తుచ్చమైనటువంటి యొక్క ఈ తుచ్చభావాన్ని దూరం చేసి యూనిటీ, మనం అందరూ ఒక దైవం బిడ్డలము. మన అందరి యందు ఉన్నటువంటి దైవం ఒక్కడే. ఏ జాతి, మతము, కులము, భేదము, వర్ణములు అనేటువంటి దాన్ని దూరము నెట్టి అందరూ ఒక అన్నతమ్ముల వలె, ఒక ఆత్మస్వరూపుల వలె మెలిగినప్పుడే ఇదే మానవత్వము, ఆనాడే దేశము నిత్య కళ్యాణంగా రూపొందుతుంది.
Unity leads to purity. Purity leads to divinity. Instead of that, if we only get divided and base all our things on community and differences, how can we have prosperity or joy? Only when we have this unity, purity and divinity, the entire nation would be happy, prosperous and everyone would have welfare and
కనుక ఈ
progress achieved.
సంకుచితమైనటువంటి భావాలను మనం నెట్టివేయాలి.
Give up this kind of narrow-mindedness and narrow qualities.
అందరినీ ప్రేమిస్తూ పోవాలి.
develop that kind of love towards all people.
అంటే ఏమి, ఏదో వికారమైనటువంటి ప్రేమలో పోయి మరి ప్రమాదాలు తెచ్చుకోకూడదు.
It is not that kind of
అనగా ద్వేషము లేకుండా చూసుకోవాలి. అద్వేష్ట సర్వభూతానాం.
There should not be any enmity.
ఈ విధమైనటువంటి యొక్క ప్రేమతత్వాన్ని మనం పెంచుకోవాలి.
We should develop this kind of love free from enmity and wickedness.
అప్పుడే మన యొక్క జీవితము, మన యొక్క దైవత్వము, దివ్యత్వము ఏకత్వంగా మారిపోయి ఆనందాన్ని అభివృద్ధి చేకూరుస్తుంది.
Then only our lives become sanctified, divine, and we enjoy unity and bliss.
ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी सत्य साई हरे, भक्त जना संरक्षक, भक्त जना संरक्षक, पति महेश्वरा. ओम जय जगदीश हरे, शिवजना श्रीकरा, सर्वा प्राणपते, स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते, आश्रित कल्पलतिका, आश्रित कल्पलतिका, आपदाना. ओम जय जगदीश हरे, पिता गुरुदैवं पर्यन्तरु नीवे, स्वामी पर्यन्तरु नीवे, नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ, नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ, नवेन्द्र शयन. ओम जय जगदीश हरे, साई महादेवा, सत्य साई महादेवा, मंगलारति अमृत, मंगलारति अमृत, मंगलगिरिधारी. ओम जय जगदीश हरे, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण, नारायण नारायण ओम, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण, नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण, नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा. नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण, नारायण नारायण ओम, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण, नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण, नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय.
Sai Ram, we are all very pleased to announce that as you've just seen, we are now live on YouTube and Facebook. I would like to invite you to search on YouTube for Sai Organization of Australia and subscribe on the YouTube account. On Facebook, you can search for Sai Organization of Australia and like and follow us on Facebook too. Please also visit our website at sai.org.au to keep updated with news and inspirational information. Brothers and sisters, I thank you sincerely once again for your support, love, and fellowship, and pray that through this evening's Connect program, through this evening's Sai Connect program, you've been able to truly plug into divinity and have felt the love and divine bond of our bigger global Sai family through the Sathya Sai Global Council. Tonight, you'd be interested to know we had more than 200 devotees plug in from 3 countries. That is awesome. Please tune in to our next episode in the Sai Connect series that will be held in 3 weeks' time on Sunday, the 22nd of August, where we will have yet another inspirational speaker to turn up the ampage in the divine connection as we let the surge of energy create the ripple effect of love through yourselves, your community, your region, your country, and then globally. Till then, Sai Ram, Kia ora, Bula, and stay safe. Om Sai Ram.